So, guys, hope you're doing well. In this quick one, I have an interview with my boy Luke. As you can see over here, he had one of his biggest months ever in the info game. And in this whole interview, we're going to go into like literally everything, like how he got into the space, what he struggled with, how he got into like what he's doing right now, how he's making all of his money, how he was able to scale a bunch of clients past like, well, I think you hit like 300K in like 7 days for one of your clients.
Yeah. So we recently just hit $300,000 in about 7 days, and we're consistently doing about 5 to 8K a day at the moment.
Yeah. And that's, which is crazy, honestly. And he went from doing construction and like doing a bunch of different things. And now he's at a point where he's making like passively from rev shares. Like, how much do you make on a daily basis?
Over the last week or so, I'd probably say anywhere from like 2 to 5K GBP a day.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. That's the most of some people make in a month. So we're gonna dive into every single thing. I have a bunch of notes over here, but I'm gonna let you, Luke, bro. Like, introduce yourself. Tell everyone who you are. Like, how would you describe yourself?
Yeah. So my name's Luke Robinson. I'm 20 years old. I run an info product marketing agency, mostly in the B2C biz op sector. So working with people who run like trading coaching offers, um, e-com offers, and then we also work on some more lucrative offers where it's a lot higher ticket, going up into like the 10, 12, 15K mark, which we're just about to get started on.
Nice. And what did you do before this? Because talking about 10K, 15K, some people might not be able to even comprehend all of that. So what were you even doing before this?
Yeah, so it's been a bit of a crazy journey, to be fair. Like, it depends how far you want to pan it back. So since I was younger, I've always been into online businesses, stuff like that. I think when I was like 13, 14, I used to stream on Twitch doing Fortnite. I used to make like Fortnite logos, Fortnite thumbnails.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Bro, I feel like everyone
Um,
always starts with
yeah,
like Fortnite
with
or some
like
shit.
graphic design kind of stuff, and it was okay. I was probably making what, 300-400 pound a month for like
Oh,
14.
14? Okay, fair
Yeah, so
enough.
nothing crazy, but like it bought my V-Bucks essentially. So I was good on that end. And then I kind of went into like the fitness content creation stuff, grew my personal brand a little bit. And then obviously when I left school, I went into sixth form, which wasn't really the route for me. I kind of went down a little bit of a slippery path, fell into the wrong friend groups, didn't really have the right direction, dropped out after around 2 months, and then started working in fucking Screwfix, so like in a
Mhm.
hardware store, like just doing shelves, stuff like that, and then also doing some electrical labouring on the side, which is where I kind of fell into the bad habits. Probably done that for about 6 to 8 months. For my age, I was like 16, probably making like 2.5, £3,000 a month. So that was okay money, but I was working probably 70, 80 hours a week. And then one of my friends, Charlie, who I'm still good friends with today, he runs a business as well. He was working in a marketing apprenticeship. He weren't making crazy money, probably like £1,500 a month, but he's working on his laptop. He worked from home 3 days a week, 2 days in the office, and he kind of pushed me into that industry. And then I worked in an agency where I started out as like a apprentice, doing paid ads, stuff like that for investment companies, and kind of dived into the whole world of like direct response marketing, stuff like that, consumer action. And then eventually moved into like a hybrid type role, so doing sales and marketing. So I was handling like the full client acquisition process essentially for the agency, and I was earning pretty good money. I was probably about 18 at the time, making probably about 4 or 5K a month working there. And then I just kind of had a little bit of luck, to be honest. Like someone hit me up on Upwork from an account like 2 years ago,
Mhm.
and I ended up signing them for the most money I'd ever charged anyone for like freelancing. It was like £1,200 a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was like a little bit of euphoric, like eureka moment. So I was like, this guy's just paying me like £1,200 a month, and my base salary at this company is 2K, and like this is only going to take me like a few hours a week to actually maintain and manage. So I done that for a couple months, and we got some really good results. Like with this client, he was running like a free trading group, and in our second month, I think we had anywhere from like a 28 to 32x return on ad spend from like 3 to 5K ad spend.
Damn.
Um, and then I saw a lot of people in the market, and I kind of saw a little bit of a gap in the market for me to kind of come in. And probably within about 2 months, alongside my job, I was making anywhere from like £5 to £6,000. What's that like in USD?
That's about like 8K, 8K.
8K USD, yeah, around about there. And then after having a chat with my parents, my girlfriend, like everyone kind of pushed me to eventually go out on my own because I had some problems with the company and they wouldn't promote me how I wanted to. And I dived into that for probably about 2 months. So it was around about a year ago today was the last day at my 9 to 5. So it was the 31st of August, a year ago today, was like my last ever day working a 9 to 5. Done that. The business was consistently doing like 6 to 8K a month. 1 month we hit like 10K. And then there was a big thing with like the FCA, and I basically lost all of my clients in probably about 48 hours. So I went from peak life, working 3-4 hours a day, making good money, being in Ibiza for like over a week straight, just partying with my friends, to then like hitting not rock bottom, but like going from like 8K a month working barely to then making like 2K a month and like stressed and wanting to get a job again.
That's crazy.
And then that's when I kind of found info products. I realized I need to be in something a little bit more lucrative where I can actually get paid what I'm worth for my skills.
No, I respect that, bro. Like, you went through like an entire, I didn't even know some of the stuff that you mentioned as well. I'm curious though, like when you were working as like, in Screwfix, what was the thing that kind of like stopped you that was like, okay, cool, I'm making more money than my friend, but my friend's making less money, but he's working less. Like, what made you feel like you wanted to transition into that whole like laptop life, working on your 9 to 5, all that type of stuff?
Yeah, so it was more when I was at Screwfix and I was doing like electrical labouring. I actually really enjoyed the job. Like, I enjoyed working with my hand, but I feel like that's something I kind of just told myself, like, because I obviously dropped out sixth form, had no qualifications, and didn't really know what I was going to do. And then when it obviously come to getting qualified as like an actual electrician, and then I had to stop working in people's houses and stuff like that and actually go on to like big construction sites up London, I went from making 2.5K a month to apprentice wage, which if you're in the UK is about, what is it, it's like £5.50 an hour.
Yeah, somewhere around.
So I was getting £5.50 an hour, and my travel was paid for, which was okay. But I was waking up at 5 a.m, getting a train to Chelsea every day from Essex, so about an hour and 45-minute commute, to then be on site for 7:30 to work till 4:30, and then do an hour and 40-minute commute back. So like when you total that out, I'm gone out of the house door to door, probably about 9-10 hours. And every day I was walking home with £55.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's slave. Like, it's actually slave labor. I don't know how it is legal. So I was doing that, and then obviously he was working. He literally lives like 5 doors away from me, Charlie.
Yeah.
And he's been like a big help in my success, like having someone who lives as close to me and like always bouncing ideas. Like since we were like 16, we're always trying businesses together and like trying new things. And when I saw him have a job in marketing, and he was making £1,100 a month, but he was working from home 3 days a week, and then he was driving to Brentwood, which was like a 10-minute drive, to go into an office, and then he was all doing all these cool things, like coming up to what we're doing now, helping the employer like film podcast, all of this. I was like, bro, this looks so much better. Like, how am I in this building site every single day? And I was like, I need to like try get into what he done. And obviously at this time I'd been trying online businesses like drop shipping, all this in that process, but never really like stuck to something essentially.
Yeah.
So I started just looking for like marketing apprenticeships that didn't need any like A-level experience, stuff like that. And the job application had actually closed for this company. And like this was the only company I had a chance at getting the job at. So what I ended up doing is like, I called them up like 3 times, ended up getting through to like the director because it was like a small boutique agency. And then they put me in touch with like the apprenticeship company who was handling the whole hiring. And then like I was doing interviews on my lunch break on the building site.
Damn.
So like,
So you
I
really
was, like,
wanted to get
yeah,
out.
yeah. So,
You're
like,
like-
I know, like that was it. Like I got caught like messaging on my phone, talking to like this new employer, and I remember one lunch break, I said I had to go out early to make a phone call to the doctor's appointment, but like I run round to the park around the building site, and I'm sitting there with like all like dust over me, like cap on, like just looking like a builder. And I've hopped on this interview and then like done the interview, and then I was just relentless following up. I even like drove down to the office, and then eventually I got the apprenticeship, and I started in like January 2023.
Damn, that's crazy. That's something you can't teach as well too, bro. Like, you're just like relentless with everything, bro. You're just like, if you wanted something, I'm gonna get it, which I respect a lot. So going back to when you started with the whole agency stuff, and you were making like anywhere between like 6 to 8K a month with the whole, like, it was the prop firm stuff, right?
Yeah.
So when everything like went down, how did you go from doing that to then jumping into the info space?
Yeah, so I've been following these 2 guys on Instagram for a little while, and I kind of saw what they were doing, and they were selling this higher ticket services. So I was charging 800, 900 pound a month for like me running ad campaigns. We were still doing like the graphic design stuff in that as well. And then like, I was seeing these guys were getting paid. They weren't even making money, like crazy money in rev shares, but I saw they were just getting paid like 3, 4, 5, 6K up front. And how I also knew is they reached out to one of my clients at the time, and he ended up paying them 6K.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, if these guys can do it, like, what is this industry where they're able to charge like what I'm making in a month in one payment? So I started kind of watching their YouTube videos, taking in the learnings, and then ended up like purchasing like coaching from them. And it was decent coaching. It wasn't too much on more of the fulfillment side. It was more on like how you can just
Get clients.
like, yeah, it got me into info. It was like my foot in the door, and it helped me sign a client. Like, I think my second day after joining the program, I signed my first like growth operating client for, I think it was £3,000 up front, which was like, even that,
You're like, wow.
I was like, yeah, I was over the moon. I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna fucking, like, this is so easy. And then obviously, as I started to actually do it, I realized, yo, this is a whole completely different ball game
Yeah.
to like just setting up some ads and monitoring ROAS and doing my day to
Yeah,
day.
there's so much stuff that goes into it. So I guess what was like your biggest struggles like when you got it? Because going from signing your first client, getting paid £3,000, the euphoria you get from that, you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. But then you're like, shit, have to actually fulfill. So what was like the things that you struggled with when it came to like actually doing the fulfillment for these types of clients you signed?
Yeah, so it was just overall the direction. Like, I feel like I just went and copied other people's funnels and was like, oh, this will work. And like at this point, I knew nothing about sales teams. Obviously, I worked as a sales rep myself at the agency, but I didn't know how to manage a sales rep or like how to manage setters. I didn't know setter flows. I didn't know how to write good email campaigns. All I knew how to do was put an ad in cold traffic and then make it profitable, but not in this industry.
Yeah.
So that client, when we started working with them, they were doing about $40,000 a month. And first month working with us, they done 20K.
Damn.
And then I was like, oh, shit, like maybe I'm not like, maybe I can't do this info shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is too much. Like, we're trying to sell these people like 4 or 5K programs. Like, I've got to learn content. I've got to still do ads. I've got to manage a sales team. And overall, I just didn't know the actual skills I needed to do it. So I kind of like hummed and hummed of like if this was the right thing for me. But then luckily I stuck it out. I had a few connections. So I was connected with a guy called Leo Conway. Like, I know you're good friends with Leo as well.
Yeah.
And like I was like telling him, I was like, bro, I don't know what to do with this shit. And then like obviously he kind of introduced me to you. You run me through like kind of everything in terms of like what you do with your clients, and then started working with you. And that's when I started to, like, I'd say in January, was like fully grasp info and start to understand it properly and start generating clients results.
I see. What was like the most surprising thing about info that just took you by surprise when you started working on it?
I'm not sure, to be honest. It was just like, I feel like it's been more surprising the last few months when it starts to really work. I feel like when you're starting out, it's just this constant like struggle of like trying to get clients results, working with like bad deal structures,
Yeah.
clients who don't like fully respect the work with you. And it was just hard. Like, so much what goes into it, so many different touch points, so many things you have to learn about bias psychology, diet response principles. So completely forgot what the question was.
No. There is a lot of stuff that goes into it. So I guess like I'm just curious, bro, because most people that would have been in your situation, they would have been trying it out, doing all these types of things. What was like the thing that kind of made you want to like invest in like extra mentorship to even get you to the point where you are right now? Because when I first know you, you were very like open to getting extra help from people. Like you didn't really like pause or think about it. If someone could help you, you would do it. So I guess where does that mindset come from, and why was it like so easy for you, and for other people they almost like sometimes self-sabotage themselves to not even make decisions to work with people?
Yeah, I simply think it comes down to the fact, like, after I quit my job and like I hit like 8, 9, 10K a month before I even got into info, and then had it all kind of hit the ground, I experienced like freedom essentially. Like, I booked like 2 trips with my girlfriend whenever I wanted to. Like, I was working not much, I weren't working many hours, and I was making good money. And then it was more, for me, it's always been a fear of going backwards. So like when I saw that big dip and like I went backwards, I was like, if I don't like invest or if I just try learn this stuff on my own and I don't like have guidance, it's probably not going to work. And then like I'm going to have to go back and get a job. And I didn't want to do that because at this point as well, I started posting on Instagram that I was fucking staying in 5-star hotels. I was in Ibiza for a week. I bought a fucking Mercedes, and then I was just like, this is like, I can't now go back to like not having this image of, it's like, that is one thing, which it probably isn't a good thing, but it's also like pushed me a lot throughout my whole life is kind of the self-image that I have around myself and the person who I want to portray myself to other people. So it was more just like the fear of going backwards and not progressing every single month, what has always like made me just invest in other people, because essentially every person I've worked with has got something I don't have, and I want to acquire what they have, even if it's knowledge, even if it's material possessions, even if it's certain types of freedom. If they want something I have, they've already been there and done it. So if I invest with them, I can kind of skip past all the learning curves and dive straight in.
Yeah, that's a bar right there, man. So when it came to like all the learning curves, like when you started working with me, what was like the things that you kind of picked up like straight away that made your life a lot easier when it comes to skill and info? Because I know there's a bunch of people that make a ton of mistakes. So what would you say are like the top mistakes that people make when they're trying to sell info?
I'd say like the biggest one, which I've like really started to notice over the last 2 months as well, is like people just generally not knowing the principles.
Yeah.
Like not like even me, like, I didn't even know what direct response was, and I'd been in info for like 3 months. And like everything you're doing with info is in essence direct response. You're trying to get someone to take an action from what you're doing. So that was the first thing, is like just going into it thinking I can sign a creator with 50k followers, put together a fucking funnel on GHL with like some botched up VSL that don't even make sense, and just think, oh, this is going to do 6 figures a month because the creator's got the following.
Yeah.
Like it don't work like that. You actually need to learn it. So that's one thing, is like making sure you master marketing. And I think another thing people do, which I done for the longest time, was not putting your time where your like skills lie. Like my skills lie in marketing, direct response, operations. My skills don't lie in team, like sales, team management, all of that. It's not something I enjoy doing. It's not something that I want to do. And I've done that for the longest time. And I think that's what kind of held me back from hitting revenue barriers, because I was more of a commodity when I was talking to clients saying, look, I can do all of this for you. And then when you actually start talking to big clients and serious people in the industry, if you hit them up and say, I can do everything for you, what, you're going to be good at nothing? Or
Yeah.
like, how are you good at everything? Like, it's just you at the end of the
100%.
day. So I think the biggest mistakes is like, first thing, people not knowing the actual principles behind like marketing and stuff like that in general. Not putting their time where their time is best spent. So putting it into low leverage things they're not good at. And finally as well, I just think most people don't really have what it takes to sit there and put the hours in and actually do the work.
Yeah.
And like they just want the results instantly, whereas it ain't like that. You're going to have ups and downs with the business. I had an all-time high, and then I didn't hit that all-time high for 3 months consecutively.
Yeah.
And like every month that literally like bruised me. But it then obviously then driven me further to break through it.
100%, man. So I guess like talk to me about like the mental stuff that goes through when you have those things, because I'm sure there's a bunch of people that have a bunch of big months and then they have like dips and they don't really like, they kind of beat themselves up. I'm sure like everyone does it, but how do you kind of like manage that when you had your big month with, you know, the info stuff with the things that we taught, and then obviously from there you had different things that went on and you went back down? How did you kind of like manage that with your mental?
Like, I think it was all kind of coming down to, I still wasn't making bad money. I was making very, very like good money, but I wasn't making the money I wanted to be making. But like since I got into info, the whole thing I've wanted to do is just skill acquisition. Because if I just constantly acquire new skills and improve as a person, physically, mentally, with my education, with like my actual marketing kind of stuff, eventually if I keep acquiring these skills and say I'm doing it with lower leverage clients or clients who don't have the potential to push that, but I'm mastering all of these skills, eventually when I get put into the right vehicle, I'm going to make money.
Yeah.
So I feel like for me, it was more just a sense of like, just keep acquiring the skills. Don't worry about the ups and downs, because they're always going to come. It's not something you can fully mitigate. I feel like, especially being in the agency space compared to like even with a coaching business, like our clients go up and down in months, but like obviously for them, it's a little bit more consistent because you're building the actual system for them where they can consistently bring in revenue. So they fluctuate only small amounts. Whereas with an agency, especially in the industry we're in right now, is you don't work with a large amount of partners. So
Yeah.
at any point, one partner can leave, and then
And then boom.
it's 30% of your monthly revenue gone. And now you've obviously got to try recoup that. So I think there is a lot of ups and downs, but I think if you just focus on the one most important thing, which is skill acquisition, even if you're not in info or you're not in direct response and you go into a different industry and you have these skills, you're always going to make money.
100%, bro. That's like the biggest thing that when you learn, you can't lose. That's the thing. Because now you have skill sets that obviously it's not going to happen, but like worst case, if something was to happen, like you can literally just go into any industry and still make a decent income and make more than what anyone would make in like a 9 to 5. So you always win when it comes to that regard. So I guess like there was one thing that you changed specifically when you had your agency, and it was super crazy. You went from literally making, I think, that 8K, 10K-ish a month, and then you jumped to like that 45K GBP month, which is kind of crazy. So talk to me about what was that one thing that you changed that literally like almost like 5x your business?
That one thing, to be honest, was like so my business partner currently, Connor Martin, he hit me up to help him out with like a trading offer that he was talking to a client with. He didn't have anyone, like he's a specialist in sales, I'm a specialist in marketing. And after speaking to you and speaking to Mashek Leaper, it's also helped me on my journey a lot.
Shout out Mashek, by the way.
Yeah, Mashek, bro. Mashek is a fucking G. If you're watching this, you're a G, bro.
So,
And like both you guys told me that the current deal structures I was in, even though I was earning like 10, 15K a month GBP, so in the 20s in the US, but then like I would have like really inconsistent months where sometimes I'd make loads of money if a client absolutely ripped, and then sometimes I wouldn't. I decided, he hit me up and he kind of said, look, I want to do the sales side of things, but you just do what you're good at. You do the marketing. I'd spoken to you, I'd spoken to Mashek at the point in time, and both of you kind of said that it makes more sense to put my skills where my skills lie and get out of the current deal structures that I'm in. So I decided to fire all of my clients, par like maybe 2 of like the retainer ones that we had, who we just done some low level ads management, because a lot of that's outsourced for me. And I just kind of went all in on this new partnership and started posting a little bit of content. Also just generally talking to people. So like I've been talking to people for months, and then eventually they come back to me because they see my stories, they see the client results we're getting. And then we worked on this first offer, which we launched at the start of August. I think it was about the 11th of August. And we ran up like 80, 90K USD with that. And it was like a smaller audience. And like after I'd done that, I was like, wait, this works so well, because like I don't have setters messaging me. I don't have closers messaging me. I don't have to worry about anything to do with that sense. All I have to do is focus on story sequences, funnels, marketing, and ads. And I was getting paid the same amount doing that than when I was doing full stack, because my deal structures were better and I was also working with better clients. And then that kind of like changed, that pivot kind of like changed everything. So I just had more time to actually put into the high leverage tasks, what we're going to grow the offers, like really going in depth with marketing strategies, because I'm not trying to hire 10, 15 sales reps, or I'm not trying to do this, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just all focused on the one thing, which was direct response and making sure everything in the marketing side of things was handled. And then we onboarded a big client. I'm not going to say the name, just for his sake, but we ended up taking him on. We done a full launch process, probably the craziest launch I've ever done so far. It's not the craziest I'll ever do. I'm going to do bigger than that. I want to do launches that do 1 million, but we kind of built out the whole process. We done over like 25 days of stories, hyping it up. We had like 15 days of like indoctrination in a private community with like mini like trading videos getting broken down, results, belief shifting things alongside the emails, retargeting ads plugged in to ultimately push people to the wait list. And then that was when we run up the offer to about 300K in 7 days. And I was taking home over 30,000 USD just from that offer in 7 days.
Which is crazy. In 7 days, you made $30,000, which is kind of fucking crazy, man. And before this, like, you were literally making like what, 2.5K, 3K a month?
Well, if you was talking about the apprenticeship type stuff, it was 850 to £1,000 a month.
That's crazy.
About 2.5, 3 years ago.
And then your biggest month this month was what?
60,000 USD.
Crazy, man. That's
Yeah.
insane. Like just that's one of the biggest things that tells me it just comes down to like the right vehicle and the right clients. Because I was telling you, you had the skill sets, and there's a lot of guys that are in the space that have better clients than us or whatever, and they're not really that better in terms of skill sets. Like you see it, and it's like the stuff they do is basic. They just do it for bigger people. So when I was telling you that that is just like the right types of people, you took action on that immediately, and that was actually fucking crazy, man. So respect to you, man. Honestly, that's one of the biggest things that I admire about you. You take action like straight away, honestly. So massive respect. Another thing I also wanted to add as well, like when you also close this guy, this big client, obviously not going to say the name, you also did something very interesting as well, which was you upped your price, even though like you reduced the people that you work with. And most people would be like, oh, I want to get this client, so let me like offer something cheaper. But how much did you pitch this guy then when you started to work with him?
So we pitched him 20k USD up front, like
Yeah.
to come in and do the service. And whole thought process behind that was other people were charging that price, and I think I'm better than these other people. So I don't know why I'm going to sit there and charge a quarter of the price they charge when I know that the shit I'm going to do is better than theirs. And obviously I had my sales manager on the call as well, so it was more just like leverage, and I was bouncing off the back with him as well.
Yeah.
But it was more just kind of like an authority move. It was like, this is a big client. If I jump on and I pitch him 3k or 4k, 5k, he's going to think it's going to be a shitty service.
Yeah.
Like, this client has already previously done 100k a month selling low ticket products, stuff like this. Like, he knows if you want something good and you want a good team, you got to pay for it. So if I jump on a call and say, oh yeah, we're going to do this crazy thing and we're going to hire all these sales reps, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, and it's only $5,000, he's going to look at me and think like, oh, this is probably going to be a bit shit.
Yeah.
Whereas like when we went in and we mapped out the whole thing prior, like our whole thought process behind how we wanted to do the launch, and we said, look, this is going to cost you only a small investment of £15,000, but it's also going to make you back 500k over the next 45 days. It doesn't actually really seem that big.
Yeah, it
It's
doesn't
only
seem
a
that big.
small investment when the upside is so huge. So I
Yeah.
feel like you got to know who you're talking to. And I feel like once you kind of hit these new pricing limits anyway, it just kind of becomes your new standard. Like, I wouldn't work with a client now unless we're getting paid minimum. Unless I'm personally taking home at least 10k for the setup.
Yeah. And it all just comes down to the balls as well, too, to say it, because I
Yeah.
remember you told me as well that the other guy didn't plan on pitching like super high. You were
Yeah.
just
He
like,
wanted
"Bro."
to do like 7k. And I
Yeah.
was like, bro, like, there is people in our industry charging 30, 40, 50k out front.
Yeah.
And like, they're not going to do as good a service of us. So why are we going to sit here and take 5, 8k and like do all of this work
Yeah.
when we could literally take double that?
Yeah. And you do that as well too, and you also have another deal in the pipeline that if that goes through as well too, that's another 20,000. So it's like you just create your own standards, which is one thing that I learned as well. You don't fall to your expectations, you fall to your standards basically. So when you set a high standard for yourself, you're gonna feel shitty if you go below that. And I feel like now you've had the standard where if you go down below a certain amount of money every single month, it's not gonna feel good for you, and it's like that's a good thing, you know. I like that a lot. So now that obviously you're making all this money, I guess talk to me. What's like left for you right now? Because I don't know what you spend your money on, bro.
I have a lovely girlfriend, and she's actually been, I'd say, a huge help with my whole journey through this. Like, she's supported me the whole way through, from quitting my job, from the ups and downs of the business. Like, I wouldn't be able to do it if I was fucking not with her. Like, she helps a lot. But yeah, in terms of spending my money, a few things. I like to go out for nice dinners. I like to stay in 5-star hotels. I like to stay in nice Airbnbs. Like tomorrow, I'm flying to Marbella with my sales manager and a few of the reps who are on our team for the launch, and my girlfriend's coming out. We've got a fat Airbnb. We've got some crazy parties coming up, like big tables at clubs and stuff. Which, like, don't get me wrong, I don't really do that anymore. But that is like my actual, like, I actually do enjoy doing that shit. Before I got into all this info shit, like, I like doing what I do. I'm not going to come into info and just be like this mad workhorse. Like, I like to have fun. I like to do the things. The only reason I actually earn this money is so I can do these things at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So it's a range of things. Like, I bought a car. I usually stay in a hotel at least like once or twice a month. Go for dinner most, like, a couple times a week. Fancy dinners maybe like once a week. And then, like, usually I try go on a trip like once a month or so.
Nice. I mean, it's the possibilities, the freedom aspect, because I guess for you, like, it's almost like you can go to any place that you want if
Yeah.
you wanted to. You could travel any place that you want if you wanted to. And it's just that freedom that comes with it, you know?
Yeah, and it's also just nice, like, to have, like, when you make money, you don't stress about things that would usually, like, put you down. Like, if, like, something of mine breaks or, like, anything bad happens in my life, I don't sit there stressing about it. Like, when I think I crashed my car, like, not even bad, but, like, really small, and I had to get a new bumper when I was, like, probably, like, 2 years ago. That's £300 to get this new car bumper. And, like, that was, like, awful. Whereas if that happened now, it wouldn't take away from, like, my happiness, because it'd just be like, I have the resources to pay for it.
Yeah.
And it's also nice just to give back and stuff as well. Like, my little sister, she had, like, this weird Android thing, and it barely works, so I got her an iPad. And then it's just like these little things where, like, you can do things for other people, you can spoil your girlfriend, you can give back to your family, and you can just, like, help people out. Like, info has probably done the most for me. Like, my girlfriend is in info. She's, like, a high ticket closer now.
Let's go.
My brother's a high ticket closer. He was actually just on the launch that we done, and he made, like, 2.5K in comms that week.
Wow.
And then my other brother's a setter. My cousin's also a setter. So, like, literally the whole family's an info now. So, like, there's no going
Let's
back.
go. Let's go. The whole family. Shout out to the family, bro. Shout out to Josh. Shout out to your girlfriend as well. Everyone's working. I respect them, man. So, I guess, like, would you have been able to envision yourself like this, like, a year ago? Like,
No.
if someone told you that, yo, you're going to be making 60 G's in a month and you're going to be going to all these nice places.
No, so that's the maddest thing. Like, I know we were speaking the other day, and it was such a weird feeling hitting that 60K month, because there wasn't no, like, I don't know. It felt like it's something you, like, dream of your whole life. And, like, when you get there, then you just think, okay, I need to do it again. And then I need to do it again. And I need to actually make sure this is consistent. But, like, if you said back to 18-year-old Luke, who was, like, working in construction, or, like, even when I was in sixth form, that at this time frame, I'd be in a happy relationship with a loving family and making, like, a solid amount of money and being able to kind of do whatever I want to do, then I probably would have just laughed at you in the face.
That's mad, man. That's mad, man. I guess to end it off, man, like, what would you say is, like, well, not to end it off, like, a couple more questions, then we're probably going to end it off there. But any advice to anyone that's in your position, man? Like, maybe there's, like, that 18-year-old Luke that's probably watching this video being like, what the fuck? This is crazy. How does this guy go from where I'm at right now to how he's making all this money? What type of advice would you give to someone like that?
There's only two things I would tell someone who is, like, in the position that I was. Is, first thing, don't be scared to invest in yourself and bet on yourself. And then the next thing is, like, just take relentless action. Like, because you can invest in yourself, but if you don't take the action, you're not going to get results. And if you take the action, but you don't invest in yourself, you will get results, but it will take you a much longer time. So if you compare both together, like, there's literally no reason you can't succeed. Like, every day you should wake up wanting to take all of it. And I'm not talking about wanting to hit fucking personal goals. I'm talking about people where say you shouldn't, like, be comparing yourself to others. But in my opinion, you should, because if these people can do it, there's no reason you can't do it. Like, the reason Messi become the best footballer in the world, it isn't because he just wanted to be the best footballer. It's because he had Ronaldo on his corner.
Yeah.
And he was competing with someone. So you need to be competing with others, and you need to think you're better than others, and you need to prove that you're better than others. And if you just invest in yourself, put your time where it needs to go, and just take relentless action and just want to be better than everyone else, I don't see why you can't really succeed.
100%. That's the bar right there, man. And I guess, some people are probably wondering, like, how did this random black guy here help this guy get to where he wants to be? So, I guess for you, what was, like, the biggest thing that you got advice from when we did the whole journey? Because we've been together for what? Obviously not like together.
Eight, I don't even know. Like, we worked together for like 3 months, then we stopped for a couple months.
Yeah.
Then we recently got started back up.
Yeah.
It was just guidance on the whole thing, like having someone to speak to. Like, because I took the course material and stuff like that, and I had all my own other learnings from, like, investing in loads of different stuff, but it was more just like I knew what I was doing, but it was like having someone in my corner to, like, reaffirm the decisions that I'm making, to make sure they're the right decisions. It's like when I'm stuck, I can just text you and we'll jump on a call and we'll break some shit down, and then instead of me being all, like, overwhelmed and stressed out, I now leave the call and I'm like, it's not actually that bad. Like, I know what I've got to do. I've just got to actually sit there and go and do the thing. So it was like the biggest thing for me was just kind of pointing me in the right direction and basically learning from the mistakes that you had and then not really replicating them.
100%. And I guess the final thing, would you recommend anyone working with me?
Yeah, 100%, bro. It's 100% worth it. Whenever I need anything, bro, I can text Mahiz. Unless he's like building some AI software shit. His replies is a little bit slow. But like all the time, like I've got your link, I can book a call, and like you always break things down in a simple way and like make it easy to digest.
Nice, man. I appreciate it, bro. So, final thing, anyone out there that wants to connect with Luke or, talk to him, paying for a consultation, his links are going to be down below. If you guys want to work directly with me, my links are going to be down below as well, too. And yeah, like, is there any final things you want to say to the camera?
Oh, not really. Just appreciate you having me on and kind of helping me get to the point where I am now.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. And we'll end it off there, boys. Woo!
Right, that was actually mad easy, bro.
That was
That
good.
was fun.
That was